Hello and welcome to my weekly video blog, and today I'm going to be talking about can flushes and sweats come and go during the perimenopause and menopause. If you like my tips and advice, then please subscribe and remember to hit the bell icon so you can be notified of all my new videos. Flushes and sweats are the number one symptom of the perimenopause and menopause. And they are one of those symptoms that can come and go as you travel through the perimenopause and menopause. So you might find you get them for a few months, they disappear and you go, oh, thank goodness. And then suddenly another few months or 6 months down the line, they come back again with a vengeance. So this can be due to a number of things. The problem is when we get symptoms when we're in the perimenopause and menopause, the perimenopause and the menopause is blamed for absolutely everything. But remember, with hot flushes and night sweats, they can be caused by so many different factors that it's always a good idea to look at things. If you find that they've disappeared and they come back, is just to look at what's going on, and you might find there is a very specific trigger here. So the number one trigger basically for flushes and sweats is stress and anxiety. Remember, our nervous system is pulled into the perimenopause and menopause, basically kicking and screaming. It causes a lot of extra anxiety and stress, and physical stress as well as emotional and mental stress. And that in itself can put further pressure on the nervous system, making you much more vulnerable to flushes and sweats. It can be low blood sugars. So again, you might find that you're okay most of the time, and then just days when you're extra hungry or you've missed a meal, the flushes come back. Dehydration, it's a big one. The other thing it could be as well is foods that you are eating or drinking, things like caffeine, alcohol, processed foods, high salt and sugary foods, spicy foods can do this as well. So a good indication that your flushes and sweats are not necessarily hormonal connected is if they happen at roughly the same time every day, because that usually means that something you did or didn't do, maybe 1 or 2 hours previously, has affected the nervous system, and that's basically triggering your flush and your sweat. So what to do with this one? This is one of these really good situations of doing a diary. So maybe over a week or so, be absolutely honest and truthful about having when you get your flushes and sweats, and then put down everything you eat and you drink, or when you didn't drink, or if you've missed meals, and you might find that there is something specific. Caffeine really is quite an interesting one, because I know a lot of people, first thing they do when they get up in the morning is have a cup of coffee before anything else. Should be water first thing, but you know, a lot of people do have that cup of coffee. They then have a second cup of coffee after their breakfast, and then within a couple of hours they wonder why at 10 o'clock in the morning they've suddenly got a hot flush or a sweat. And it's just the accumulation of the caffeine in your system that's doing this, rather than anything else. It might be that you get a hot flush at 3 o'clock every afternoon when you're working, but you're okay when you're at home at the weekends. And again, it can be just the fact that you've had a rushed lunch, you haven't eaten very much, maybe it's been a high carbohydrate, you know, pasta salad or a big sandwich and a biscuit or a bit of cake or something. And it's just, again, the fact that you haven't had any protein or very little protein and very little fat in that meal, that the carbohydrates have just given you a big sugar rush. And that's then triggered your nervous system, and hey presto, you're getting that flush at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So try this one, just to do the diary. And you know, it can be something just so simple. I had one lady, all she did was cut out her cup of coffee after her evening meal, and her night sweats disappeared within about 10 days. So these things, you know, just doing a little bit of research on what you're doing yourself can make such a difference. If you find that you haven't had the flushes for maybe 5 or 6 months, and then they've come back again and you're wondering what's going on, then maybe look at what was going on in your life. So it could be that you've been extra stressed, you've been extra busy, you've been running around a lot more. It could be a change of the season. So if you're somewhere where the weather has suddenly got a lot hotter, maybe you're not drinking so much water. So it could be a factor of heat and dehydration. It could be going on a diet. So if you're cutting calories, that can put extra pressure on your body and that can trigger flushes and sweats. If you've suddenly decided to have a really good exercise regime as well, then again, it's all extra pressure that you're putting on your body. So this is a good one. Just look back whenever your symptoms got worse or suddenly reappeared after months of not having them, then it could be that it's something you're not doing or something you're doing that's been a big change in your life at that particular moment. And again, these things are easily fixed, just by doing a few little tweaks to your diet or your daily regime. Remember too that sage is fabulous for hot flushes and sweats whenever they come back or they're being a little bit stubborn. And remember, we have our registered product, Menopause, which is recommended for the relief of hot flushes and night sweats. Hope you found this one helpful. Have you found that there's been something in particular that has triggered your flushes or your sweats, and when you've resolved that, your flushes and sweats have disappeared? Again, share your stories, and you know that I love to read them all. And I'll see you later, and have a lovely week.